So everything started with Prologue, and I always wanted to be at Prologue, to work at there, and to me it's been the first company that I've worked at back at LA, and in my opinion, Prologue was one of the first companies who started to actually sell a title sequence as a standalone form, and and it's not only a title sequence that a feature might need, it's also an end rolls or production companies' logos or graphics for films, and all those things Prologue would create and sell it. And to me, it's been a very new experience, and I really wanted to do titles when I was living back in Russia. And it's been pretty smooth transition to me because back in Russia I've been working on visual systems, so I've been working for brands mostly, but it's similar process. You would work on visual system, and you would, as a graphic designer, you would build it either for brands or for something else. But I wanted to creatively expand it a little bit and be creatively free a bit. And if you work with brands, you're a little bit locked creatively. But with titles, you would work for the story. And each time the story is different. You would work for different film or different TV series. And every time it's a different story, which is interesting about titles. So yeah, it's I started to work on it back at Prologue. That's my first company. So there was no other way for me. That's the reason I came to LA because at some point when I lived at Russia and when I worked there, I've been working there I think for 6 or 7 years. I've been working as a graphic designer and all the best companies we had back there, and in my opinion, to the biggest brands of the market. And I grew up from a junior designer to creative director through those years, but I always felt that all that time was a preparation period for me to make a bigger step. And I think at some point I felt that I need to like keep growing and figure it out. What is it beyond the horizon? What is it that I can get from different market, different people, talented people that I might meet? And I just decided to move. And it's been, I wouldn't say it was complicated. I was just brave enough to do it back then. So that's how it started, and there was no other way for me. And I'm happy I did it. I'm happy because I've met a lot of talented people, because all the jobs I'm working on are high profile jobs, and I'm always thankful for that. Mentors, that's interesting because I've met a lot of people that I think are clever and very experienced people. And it's not necessarily they're related to the industry at all. But I would respect the way they think, and they would teach me a lot. But people are coming and leaving, and they just come and go. But whatever they gave me, it stays with me, and it's my experience. And to me, it's not about having a mentor. It's just the collective character. Um, but honestly, if I'm thinking right now about the mentor, I think that I have one, and I would say that it's my dad. My dad is my mentor. And the reason I say that is because he's not related to our industry at all. He's actually a neurosurgeon, he's a doctor, and he's very strong man and experienced and smart leader. And I can talk to him, and I actually talk to him all the time about different situations that are related to my job. If it's some complicated situations or if I have questions that I don't have answers for, it happens sometimes. And I would talk to him, and he would always find an answer for me. And his answer wouldn't be like as if he cares about his daughter. He would answer me as a leader, as a professional, And I really respect that, and I would say that he's my only mentor. So I think that inspiration comes, to me personally, it comes from working with people, meaning that every time on every job, when I look at what designers are doing, I'm amazed because like everybody is so creative. They will come up with ideas that I didn't even think about. And I would look at their frames or I would just hear what their ideas are. And I just got inspired of it. And the job is getting deeper and more interesting. More you get from people, the way they think, the way they draw, the way they create, more you get it from them, more inspired you are as well. And to me, that's the biggest source of inspiration. The purpose of the titles, I think, well, originally it's the communication of the legal information. So there are credits that needs to be in the title sequence. That's the original function, I guess. But we all know that titles became an art form, basically, standalone art form. And we know that there is a category at Emmys, so you can get an Emmy for the title design. We know that I've heard that there's going to be a category at Oscars as well for the titles design. I don't know when it's going to happen, but still, it's a standalone art form. And I think it has a function, educational function, I would say, because out of the title sequence, you being a viewer, you're basically able to find out a little bit more about the story you're about to watch. So, first step when I start working on a job, I would say, well, and if we're saying that it's already a job that I know about a little bit, let's say we already had some initial calls with client, or maybe we had some initial emails with client, that means I already have an understanding about the creative a little bit, or about the time, or about the budget. So knowing that, the first step I would do, I would talk to my producer, the producer who is assigned to this job. Let's say if it's an actual job, it's going to be producer assigned to it. If it's a pitch, there's going to be a pitch producer working on it. But basically, the conversation is going to be similar. It's about designers I could get on a job. So we need to discuss that. And we need to figure out when those people are available to start working on it. And to me, when I know about designers I'll have, and when I know about the schedule, and when we decide about the date of the presentation, design presentation, then right after that I would start working, and I would take like a week or week and a half to start working on research. And I need to study the script and maybe watch the film that we're working for, or an episode of the TV series we work for. And then I would need to go through a creative brief that we've got from client and research references that they gave us. And the reason I need this time, like a week, to work on it is because I need to not only research, but I need to also come up with ideas and make sure that when designers are ready to start, I'm able to communicate the brief and communicate the concepts that we need to explore to them. So that's going to be my first steps. Thankfully, I don't need to choose my clients, meaning that I've been working at Prolog and now I'm working at Elastic, and through this time, I've never had a job or client that I was not happy about. So I'm always respectful to the job I'm working on and to the clients I'm working with, because I do believe that every job gives me something, meaning that I learned something through it. And this is my approach. And I remember there is a moment in my memory that is very vivid. When I just came to Prolog, and I've been working on one of my first big jobs. I think it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm working on it, and I'm thinking, wow, if I wouldn't be brave enough at some point and if I wouldn't move to LA, I could be just sitting at my home watching TV, watching this exact movie, and somebody else would make graphics for it. Somebody else would work an opening title for it. And I'm just thankful that I have opportunity to work on big jobs, on interesting projects, and I would never be picky about my clients. I'm just thankful to everything I have. I never really track it, to be honest, but I do know a lot of very talented designers from Russia. And some of them are there, some of them are here. Um, but to me, sometimes my friends would ask me, who live there, would ask me to help them with, say, titles for the films that they're working on. And I would obviously help them, and I'll do that. But I feel that because the industry is very new back there, I think to me that's the reason why, that explains why directors or production companies are not always ready for brave and creative solutions. And I feel a little bit limited, creatively limited, because I just think they don't need to, there's no need to create something innovative. That's my personal opinion. But it's gonna happen. One day it's gonna happen. And I even have a lot of friends back there who are running their own design companies. And the way I understand is that they have representatives all over the world, so to get more of the worldwide jobs. And I guess it's the same reason. I guess they just want to be creatively free, working for the worldwide projects. I think that it allowed me to think contrast. And I'm thankful to my background. I'm thankful that everything happened this way, so I was able to live in one country, in one culture, and then I moved to completely different culture. And the way people behave, the way people react, the way people behave on the production while they build in a job with you together, it's all different. And that's actually the reason I love the companies I work at, and it happened at Prolog as well, and it's happening at Elastic. The companies are full of people from around the world, and it gives incredibly rich solutions every time on every job. That's my understanding. I think the reason is because people grew up in different cultures and they're bringing all that richness into the jobs. I think it's very healthy when people are collaborating and bringing something from their culture into the projects they do. So it's always helpful. I think that style is defined by the job you're working for, and more experienced designer and director you are, um, better your palette is, more you can do for a job, meaning that some jobs might need full CG sequence, some jobs might need a lot of typography, some jobs might need completely editorial piece, some jobs might need maybe a footage that you need to shoot as a director. So it's always about the project you're working for, and you need to be able to create a piece that is specific for it. So, but if you're asking about my style of work, then I would say that I'm trying to be reasonable, honest, respectful, and creative director. That's my style. I think it depends. So if, let's say, I'm functioning as a designer, then there's gonna be a part that I love a lot, and it's about me just drawing. I can just I can be so deep in this process. I just keep drawing and keep hearing myself breathing, and I'm just concentrated on this process. So that's something I love. And I also love experimenting with new tools. So let's say if there is something that I get, like new result I'm getting from new tool, then I can just keep going deeper and deeper into that, experimenting, and this is very inspiring process. If let's say I need to do research and come up with ideas, that's extremely interesting to me, because it's also like before you start, or when you start every job, basically you need this time of getting deep into research and find some interesting ideas for your job. That's extremely inspiring for me. And also, if when I'm functioning as a director, then a very interesting moment to me is when I'm working with people, and each person needs its specific approach, and to me it's interesting to find this approach so our collaboration on a job is the most efficient. So this is interesting to me, to explore and keep building efficient relationships with each member of my team. I don't do any personal projects, and the reason is because I don't feel like my creativity is questioned on my commercial jobs, so I never suffer, and I would come up with ideas for the projects, and client will like something out of what I suggest. So it's not like I have to say something else. So I guess that's the reason I don't do personal projects. And another reason is because I put everything I have, all my emotions, all my time, all my resources into my job. And it's all commercial jobs. So I just don't have any more resources and to do something else. And my time is perfectly balanced, I guess. So there's no time I have for any personal projects. I don't think I have hobbies because I'm very careful about my time, and my priorities are my job and my family, and I'm trying to balance my time so to equally distribute it between job and family. Of course, I'm reading, of course, I'm watching movies, and I'm going to museums, and I'm doing a lot of sports. But I wouldn't say it's hobby. It's just something that keeps my mind fresh, and something that keeps my body healthy. I think that there is no time to be frustrated, to be honest, because as a professional, I need to react on every situation that happens at work. I need to react professionally, and there is no time to be emotional. Um, less emotions I invest into problem, better it's going to be, and faster solution I'll find solution faster. So I prefer not to be emotional, I guess. But there are moments when I feel like sometimes I would work hard, and I feel that I need a moment to just breathe a little bit and maybe rest a little bit, because at some point I realized that if I have a moment to rest, I'm gonna get a better results at my work. Well, it's interesting because I believe that, and it's me personally. I fall in love in every job I work on, and it happens because more I study the script I'm working for, or more I get integrated into the job. That means I'm putting more of my time into it, and as a result, I'm getting tighter relationships with the job I'm working for. And to me, it's about falling in love into what you're doing, and it's not like there are jobs that are boring, or there are jobs that are small, or there are jobs that you can pay less attention to. It's just all about your investment into it. And even for the job that you might think um, is like small or needs a simple solution, you might like keep thinking and come up with something interesting and something innovative. So to me, every job that I would work on will be interesting, just because I'm gonna put my time into it and keep thinking about it. And I wish I keep this approach in the future and to all of the jobs I'm working on. I think that the first thing I want to do is, and it's not really experimentation, it's I just know the moments that I need to get, and those moments are for the full CG sequences that I sometimes do. I need to work on the quality of it, and basically, by quality I mean that I think that I need to move on to bigger budget jobs, and I need to move on to bigger teams. I just want to expand and figure out how is it to work with the bigger team of people, because to me it's very interesting task how to properly work with people, how to get better results from your team. So eventually I would like to start shooting and become a part of DJA, which means that I will be able officially to shoot something if I need to for my jobs. And I think that I'm missing it right now, because for some jobs I feel that sometimes I could suggest to shoot something, but I'm a little bit limited right now because I have to be officially there. So that's another thing I need to do, and I think that's it for now. But I'm sure it's going to be more. It's always like more and more of the tasks that you create for yourself. So it's a long way to go. To me, design and my product, it doesn't have a gender. So I believe in equality. That's the only thing I believe into.